Whoa, 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 whoa.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Camden ADHD. If you have not yet done so, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you never have to miss another episode. I am so excited to talk to you today. It has been quite a few weeks since our last episode of me just telling you how life is going. I have recently been diagnosed with ADHD, and I am bringing you along with me for the journey. Today, I'm going to be talking a little bit more about honoring the process, honoring where you currently are as the right place, and looking toward the future and the progress that you will be making. You're doing awesome. Let's go ahead and get started. Morning. I guess not everyone's listening to this in the morning, but it's morning here for me, people. It's 6 a.m, and this is when my quiet time happens. And so pardon the raspy morning voice if that's what you're getting right now. I have been teaching for an hour, so hopefully that is all gone and you're just getting my normal voice. Oh my gosh, it has been such an incredible 2 months since my last personal podcast here. Welcome to Camden ADHD. I'm so glad that you've chosen to join us today. I was recently self-diagnosed about 4 months ago with ADHD, and I am taking you along my journey as I'm trying to navigate what this whole process looks like in my life. Today, we're going to be talking a little bit about what I've been doing over the past few months to help navigate this. I think it was really hard for me to share at the beginning with people that I knew and people that I loved, and I still haven't told a whole ton of people about my ADHD diagnosis for multiple reasons. I think one of the biggest reasons is I haven't gotten an official diagnosis, and I feel like until I get that, a lot of people won't take me seriously. At the same time, a lot of people out there I'm understanding, like me, think of ADHD as a very narrow definition. They think of hyperactivity, they think of the inability to focus, and that's it. And it's become kind of a flighty diagnosis in the fact that people just throw the name out. They just throw it around here and there, and it really loses its power and impact and significance to those of us who do struggle with this every single day and that recognize that this is so much more than inattentiveness. Oh my gosh, it is all encompassing, isn't it? Oh, wow. And so the more that I have become aware of truly what ADHD looks like and what it feels like, and identifying my nature, my initial nature in this whole process, I think, wow, there is need for education and for resources. Major need. So in the past month or two, I have been able to hop on the phone with multiple people in all different parts of the world, all different parts of the United States. I have so appreciated the advocacy that's on social media. And today I want to talk about the process, okay? So by nature, I like to be happy. Happiness is my goal. I like to bring joy and light to other people. And ADHD has made that a little difficult these days. While I've lived with this diagnosis, undiagnosed, I've lived with this for my whole life. Just recently, I've had to go through some stuff. And when I first started with my Instagram and all this discovery, a lot of the posts that I was putting out there may have come across negative, may have come across as, if you have ADHD, you're going to struggle to know where to put your keys. You have ADHD, you're going to struggle to be responsible or to follow through with what you said, or, even though our intent is not to do that, that's what ends up happening. If you have ADHD, you might not be able to fall asleep well because of all the thoughts running through your head. If you have ADHD, you might come across as flaky or flighty. If you have ADHD, you might really, really struggle in school and, work 18 times harder to get a result that most neurotypicals can get with very little effort. And I want to try and make it clear that these posts were not to bring a negative light to ADHD, but this is my self-discovery. And we have to honor that space. We have to honor that process. I was a missionary for a year and a half. And during that time, I was a journal writer. And in my journals, I felt like I couldn't put anything negative because it would then have a negative light on my experience of my mission. Like if people read my journal and I was only talking about negative things, I didn't want that to be the reflection of the actual very, very positive experience I was having. But man, that is not healthy. I think that we have to make space for growth. We have to make space for the hard. We have to be honest and true to what it is we're actually going through without filters, without sprinkles on top with a cherry. We have to be real. And then people will start to recognize when they're going through the hard that that's okay, that that's normal. And then once we come to terms, and once we see that, then it's okay to be happy. It's okay to be optimistic. Recognizing that I don't have to be happy all the time in order to be a positive person has been really a challenge for me. Before showing negative emotion also showed weakness. And it's not true. I am a strong person. I am a dedicated person. You are strong and you are dedicated, and you can honor the hard while still being optimistic and hopeful for the future. I saw a TikTok yesterday and I actually scrolled back through my Instagram because I wanted to try and find that post. It was a TikTok and she had posted it and she has like 30,000 followers and she's an ADHD advocate. I'm so sorry. I'll eventually find it. And I loved her post. She said, "I'm more than symptoms. I am creative. I am smart. I am a good friend." I can't remember all the things she said, but you get the idea. And I said, awesome, you are honoring where you are at in your journey. And yes, I agree wholeheartedly with that. But then I started feeling bad that a lot of the TikToks and a lot of the posts that I've been making have been about symptoms. And I started beating myself up in my head. And then I had to catch myself and say, Camden, stop it. You are at the very beginning of this journey and you need to look those hardships in the eye, and you need to recognize that you do have some difficulties. The ADHD has been present in your life. You need to come to terms with that. You need to feel that pain, to feel that loss, to feel that frustration, not because you are frustrated, not because you are a painful person and that makes you weak and that makes you undesirable by those around you, but because it's true. Because you have struggled, because it has been hard. And you need to recognize that that was not just all you, that you weren't less smart or less capable, but that your brain works in a different way. And you have had to struggle your whole life not knowing that. And that's okay to feel frustrated about. And it's okay to recognize symptoms, but don't stay there. Don't stay there, you guys. As I have become acquainted with so many of you in this incredible ADHD community, I have had many things stick out to me. The biggest thing that I love and that I always come back to is ADHD OERS. And these guys are awesome. It's not necessarily a plug for what they're doing, but of course I'm going to plug for everyone. But ADHDoers. That this is not here to hold us back. I have never felt like I couldn't do something that I put my mind to, with the exception of dentistry. And I always thought that I'd still be a good dentist, but I could not. I had such a struggle in college with all of those, with biochem and organic chem and anatomy and physiology, my short-term memory was just nearly impossible for me. And bravo to all of you ADHD doers out there who have been able to find space for that. I was called to teaching and I killed it in teaching. But there are very few things that I've had desires to do in my life that I have not been able to accomplish with some blood, sweat, and tears. And I've had to get creative sometimes, and I've had to do things a little bit differently sometimes. I remember when I went to Peru, I was asked to go to Peru and lead these like 20 kids, these teenagers, and I had never even been outside of the country myself. Like usually that would send you into a complete downward spiral. You know, usually the ADHD with anxiety and hardship, that would just kill a person. How did I accomplish that? How did I get through that? And I remember feeling sick. I remember losing my appetite. I remember being so nervous and feeling so inadequate. But when my trainer left, it was just me. And there wasn't a choice to fold. There wasn't a choice to back down. There wasn't a choice to not rise to the occasion. And so I rose. And ADHD doers out there, wherever you are at in your journey, honor where you are at. And those of you around us, let's remember that we need to honor the journey of those around us too. You will find a way to express this process and let that be yours. Let ownership happen with yours. But if someone else is at a different part of their journey, let them work it out. Let them feel that angst in their soul. Let them become who they need to become. You can't just snap your fingers and from one moment be like, I have ADHD, and the next moment be like, but it doesn't matter. If you truly can internalize this, especially if you've been diagnosed as an adult and have lived your whole life this way, or if you're an adult looking at your kids and thinking, what is my life going to be like with a child that has ADHD? You're having to reframe your entire future. And that's going to take some work. I'm going to take some time. I'm going to take some tears possibly, and frustration and questions and research. And that's exactly how it's meant to be. Exactly how it's meant to be. If we were given a diagnosis of MS or Lou Gehrig's disease or, diabetes, I wouldn't expect someone to be like, hey, yeah, it's no problem. Everything's going to be fine. So let's honor where you're at, and let's honor the hard and the frustrating. But we're going to honor it right alongside with the wonderful rejoicing. ADHD can be our strength. Currently, I'm working on 4 different projects right now. And to my brain, that feels insane. And I think it's pretty ironic that at the time that I'm recognizing that I have ADHD, that I'm taking on the most I've ever taken on in my whole life. But at the same time, I'm learning how to work my best level, my optimal level. I'm learning how I have to take these thoughts out of my head. I have to write them down. I have to, brain dump, as they say, organize my thoughts and ideas on paper, and then continue as consistent as possible in order to get to my dreams and my goals. I've noticed, what my ADHD looks like is pretty different and unique than other people's, but that the underlying themes are usually about all the same. I don't think for a second, guys, not even for a moment, that because of my ADHD, I won't be able to accomplish that. Like never. I have not once thought that. All I have found and thought over these past 3 or 4 months is excellent. Now I can find out how I can level up all of the hard work I have been putting in for years. Now I can figure out how I can work at my optimal level, how I can get things done even more quickly, because now I know the kind of tools that are going to help me. Because I know how my brain works, because I know my nature, now I can set myself up for more success, right? If I am playing baseball, or if I am learning a new skill, or if I am, learning how to sprint, whatever it might be, there is a nature, there is a golf swing, for example, there is a certain way that when you pick up that golf club and you swing it, your body does it a certain way. But it's not the most efficient way. And so what do you have? You have a coach, and the coach is going to tell you, okay, you need to relax your shoulders. You need to bend your knees. You need to straighten your left arm. You need to keep your head down. They're going to coach you on all of these things, and you're going to practice and practice and practice until that golf swing is the most perfect that it can be, so that ball is hit the most accurately, sets you up for more success in the long-term game or in your short game. But without that coaching, without that recognizing of what is innate in your body, how you initially hold that golf club, without recognizing that, how are you supposed to grow? So when I pick up, and I am not a golfer, I don't even know why I chose this, my husband's golfer. When I pick up the golf club, I know that my tendency is to really put a lot of stress in my shoulders. So if I know that, when I pick up that golf club now, what am I going to say? Relax the shoulders. That's the first thing I'm going to say. Perfect. I'm that much closer to having an optimal swing. I'm that much closer to having more success in my game. Well, guys, that's what ADHD is. Let's not make this a bad thing. It is good to recognize where our I don't want to say weaknesses are, because they're not necessarily weaknesses, but they're weaknesses to help us get to where we want to go, right? If I don't have any goals in my life, if I'm just totally okay, just bumming around and having, highs and lows every day and not getting things done and not having things accomplished, then great. Sit in your ADHD and don't change anything. But if I have true ambitions and goals and dreams, then let's take a look at what we can do a little bit differently. I have made lists for bedtime and for morning routines for my kids, but not just for my kids, for me. So now I can take a look at, okay, what have they gotten done? What do we need to get done still? And I don't have to think about it in my head. It's in front of me in my eyes. I have a planner. And I'm not going to do 2 planners. I'm not going to do 3 planners. I have my phone, that's my calendar. And then I have my planner where I write all of my tasks that I need to get done. And that planner is like the Bible for me. Like that is where I eat, sleep, breathe, plan out of. That is my life. And it's been really hard, guys, because as I've had planners before, I've had spiral notebooks before, I end up having like 18 of them. I can't remember which journal or planner I put my stuff in. I don't know where they are in the house, which backpack or which car they're in. That doesn't work for me. I can't have multiple things all over the place. And I'm still struggling with that in some ways too. But what I have found is that I need one planner with enough space where I can just brain dump day by day, where there's room for notes. You're going to find your system so that I can stay on top of everything. And like I said, I'm still struggling. It's still new, but for now, I'm finding techniques that are really, really helpful. So I hope that this helps, guys. I know I seriously just brain dumped all over you, but my biggest takeaway, and I hope what you're hearing me say, is you have to honor where you are at. And you can't just stay stuck if you actually want to get things done in this life. ADHD is not an excuse, but it is real. And if we don't take a good, hard look at it, then we're going to stay in the exact same situation, making the exact same habits over and over and over again, because that's who we innately are. It's how our brain works first. But if we want to grow, we want to progress, we understand that this is not something that's going to hold us back. We're going to take it into our own hands. We're going to take control of it, and we're going to find out how to make this thing work. And here at Camden ADHD, that's what I'm trying to do, you guys. I'm trying to make this normal. I'm trying to make your process feel like you're not insane, that you are so capable, that there is nothing that you can't accomplish, but you're going to need some help. That's exactly what I'm seeking. I'm interviewing people, I'm reading books, I'm reading articles, and eventually I'm going to be getting a coach. I'm going to be getting a diagnosis. I'm going to be looking into further nutrition and possibly medication, all of these things. This is my journey. You have a journey. Let's honor it. Let's do the thing. If you're on a low note, honor that low note. If you're on a high note, honor that high note. But I'm telling you right now that there is hope, that there is power, that there is excitement and joy in the future, and that you can do this, and you are capable, and you are powerful. And as you step into that power, you will learn so much about who you were meant to be and the impact that you can have in little ways and in big ways. Oh my goodness, it was so awesome to have you with me today on today's podcast. Remember to please subscribe. Follow me on Instagram at Camden_ADHD. No matter where you are in your journey, guys, honor it. Be true to it. And always remember that you can and you will.